good morning. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. So wherever you are watching this program from, thank you. It's a pleasure, to join us on this program. How was your weekend? My weekend was good. Had a program on Saturday and everything went successful, alhamdulillah.
This is the Weltare program.
Yes,
you can mention it.
The Weltare,
it's not forbidden.
The Weltare cultural event. Although the rains affected part of the program, because most of the people that were expected to come couldn't make it due to the rains. And other parts were really raining heavily, according to some of my people. But alhamdulillah, the intention was really carried out, and we've shared the message across, uniting Pulagu under one umbrella. So that was the motive behind organizing all that program. And thanks to everybody that attended, those who wanted to attend and they couldn't. Thank you very much. See you next year, inshallah. Mr. Adedrame is the co-host of this program.
I'm the co-host and also one of those who was intending to attend but couldn't.
Exactly.
I couldn't leave the office till after 10 o'clock due to various
we understand.
Matters.
We received some prominent people. The likes of CDSK Njai was there from the Hakalang inauguration. Straight he came to attend the program. The Consular Affairs of Spain was also there with her
Anybody
team.
from Turkey?
We have the Honorable Ambassador of Turkey, Oba Toka. He was there as well in attendance.
Okay.
And, people from different sectors, financial institution, different communities. All my community people came to show love. They attended. I was very happy to see my neighbors, attending the event to show love. So it was really a wonderful night. Yeah, so we have Halimatu Sisay. Is it Halimatu Sisay?
Yes, it's Halimatu Sisay.
It reminds me of Habibatu Sisay, Babukar Sisay's daughter.
Is that right?
Yes, sometimes I keep, mixing the names.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's been a while.
Yes, it has. A lot of issues going on with motherhood.
Yeah.
We have to,
Yeah.
You have to
watch
juggle.
our schedules, But it's good to be back. Mr. Ade,
Pleasure having
it's
you
good
here.
to share this platform with you today.
Yes.
It's great to have you here. And we always ask people, how was your weekend? So how was your weekend?
Yes. So I was in rural Gambia from, I think, Tuesday to Friday. So this weekend, I just used it to relax because I was exhausted.
So you are at home.
It's always good to
Relaxing,
I was at home,
relaxing
relaxing.
and TikToking.
Sure, relaxation. We can relax with our social
relaxing
media, of
with
course.
social media.
Yes.
Exactly. So we'll take a look at the African code. From the code, we'll head straight to the newspaper review with Halimatu Sisay as the guest of this program. And we'll also be conducting an interview. As you know, we'll be playing an interview by Juldenjai. Juldenjai?
With her and the minister.
And the minister.
She spoke to the Ministry of Minister of Environment.
Currently, they are in Brazil for the COP30. Reading what the minister said on the on that form or that letter, the minister said this time there will be action, and I was even doubting. They keep saying this year in year out, but probably this thing it's going to happen this time. Yeah. So we'll take a look at budget scrutiny forum for CSOs. Lamin Diba, executive director, would be here from CBMT.
They're the ones who conducted the forum, and it was a very interesting one. They looked at the recent draft budget, which was put before the National Assembly. Had some interesting spillover from that.
Yeah. So we'll take a look at.
Shall we dive into the quote?
Yes, the quote, Mr. Ade.
The African proverb. I'll read it. It says, "No matter how beautiful and well crafted a coffin might look, it will not make anyone wish for death." No matter how beautiful and well crafted a coffin might look, it will not make anyone wish for death. Mr. Balde,
no matter how beautiful and well crafted a coffin might look, it will not make anyone wish for death.
Is that true? And what are they getting at?
Well, I got a person who said to me, please, I need a coffin and I want to keep it in my house until I die.
People do that.
Until I kick the bucket.
People do that.
You understand? So I was wondering.
That's just about planning.
Planning for your
death.
Yes. You know, I mean, that would be, I hope that coffin would be rotting before
But anyway, you're scouting the issue. I've said, how do you interpret this? Are you're trying to do a Maradona?
Well, it's telling you there are situations that you don't pray for, although they are inevitable, they will happen. There are things that you have no control over, although there are things that will happen to each and every person. You know, nobody, even if it's crafted and beautiful, nobody wishes to die. I mean, nobody wishes to buy it. It's telling you the inevitable must happen. There are things that also look very good, but at some point, you know, one needs to be careful. I mean, cautious. I mean, you need to take your time. Not everything that glitters is gold. Sometimes they can look beautiful and while they are not good. Sometimes you buy a car while the body looks good, but the engine is bad. I mean,
we've all been there.
Yes, yes, that happens. So it's just to be careful. No matter how beautiful it looks, no. You know, people can be handsome. People can be beautiful. You can look at the outer beauty, but the internal beauty sometimes that's the problem. So it's telling you, you know, one needs to be very careful, and you don't have to choose whatever you like. Sometimes you need to avoid certain things. I mean,
Halimatu, what's your take on it? Do you have a different one or
yes,
similar?
Not a different one. Like you said, the inevitable must happen, whether we like it or not. And also things, there are things that look good on the surface, like you will see someone and you said, okay, this person has a great personality. I think it happens in our communities whereby people will be accused of something and somebody will say, no, he's not capable of that. But you don't, deep down, you don't know this person. You just see the personality the person is portraying, but you don't know what the person is capable of. So you cannot speak for that person. So I think also, like you said, not everything that glitters is gold. The coffin might look very beautiful, but in order for you to be an owner of that coffin, you must die first. You have to die. So I think that's what I get out of it anyway.
That's good. It's good. Yeah, I mean, because it's very much along the lines of we see things and we envy things that perhaps we shouldn't, because we don't know what's behind it or how this thing got to be the way it is. But we just see the outer thing. Oh gosh, that coffin looks beautiful. But when I read it, I have to admit, I kind of smiled because my uncle is due to be buried in Sierra Leone this Friday. And my cousins in Sierra Leone were saying that, oh, you know, the body is at a mortuary, at a funeral home, and they're saying that we don't like the suit that he's wearing. We're going to buy a new suit. And I'm thinking, I don't think he cares. He's dead. You know, and he's already wearing what was one of his suits. He lived in England, you know. But for them, this is like the most important thing. Is like getting him a new suit and getting him new shoes. And, you know, sometimes, you know, we kind of have our priorities wrong. But this one, you know, yes, no matter how beautiful and well-crafted the coffin might look or how successful or whatever, don't wish for that thing, because to get there, you don't know what sacrifice you might have to make. Of course, in this case, it's the ultimate sacrifice. You'd have to die as you said, to be in that coffin. So, you know.
It is beautiful to the eye, and I definitely, one might love the design, but one doesn't want to own it.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful, but you don't want to own it.
It's like they say, everybody wants to get to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
Nobody wants to die.
But if you want to get there, you have to die.
So that is it. The only time a person will be put in a coffin and sent away, it's when the person doesn't have, you know, any resistance, or I mean, you don't have any power over it. Otherwise, I mean, you will not allow it to be put in a coffin. Yeah, so I think
it's an interesting one. I always ask where are these from, but
it must be from Ghana, because I've seen a lot of coffin design from Ghana.
Yes,
can you imagine, Mr. Ade, if a driver dies in Ghana,
coffin in the shape of a car,
they design the shape of a car. Coffin for you.
Yes,
that's
they
interesting.
do. And for a fisherman, it would be in the shape of a fishing canoe and so on. Yeah, it's a big thing in Ghana.
When one is an electrician, they design a bulb for you, coffin bulb for you. Interesting. People have different ways of life, and you know, sometimes one will look at it and be like, these people, they should not do this. Look how they are treating their dead. They shouldn't do this and that. But these people too, they believe in those things. You understand?
It's their way of
so every person and what you believe and how you believed it. You understand?
Certainly. I mean, every culture is very different. I mean, in Ghana, they have this tradition of keeping bodies for a long time, a couple of years before they're buried. Certainly, one of my best friends, I mean, his father, when he told me that, because his father actually worked in my office in London. And when I said, you finally buried the old man, he was like, no, keeping it for another 18 months. I'm like, what?
They can keep the dead
because
body.
then people from the family all over the world saved up money to come for it, you know.
It's like a party.
Yeah, quite.
It's like Gambians preparing for a wedding or naming ceremony.
That's right.
For months. Yeah, so thank you very much, Mr. Ade and Halimatu, for that interpretation. At this point, we will take a short break. After the break, then, we continue with the program. We'll be back.
Gambia's leader in optical care with 5 locations offering the best in visual health. With cutting-edge European technology, Opticalia delivers single vision lenses in just 20 minutes. At Opticalia, we care about our future. Eye exams are free for individuals under 18, ensuring everyone has access to quality eye care. But it's not just about vision. Opticalia also provides advanced audiology services to ensure your hearing health is in the best hands. Our audiology services offer European standard hearing aids and diagnostics, ensuring everyone can hear clearly. Whether it's testing or treatment, you can trust Opticalia for your auditory care. Opticalia offers European standard products, fair prices, and exceptional value all under one roof. Visit Opticalia at the Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia or call us on 7767-121 or at any of our regional branches. Banjul 7767-126, Brikama 7767-123, Farafenni 7767-124, Basse 7767-125. Opticalia, love what you see and hear.
Naine dake network koto mi yalonko wole warta nyimbanko kan adung adabe soni aring wole nyama. Imuna fang telefono la mi yalonko abe seni aring adung internet wobe tari aring. Nyindung kiusel doronda si nati aleno. Ibori yela kiusel line ota. Customer care mi suti atima. Bi. Kiusel network ko mi warta network ko beti adung adabe soni aring. Kiusel sunu boss. Ntolenga silo walang tulia bulan noma.
You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Thank you once again for joining us. If you're just tuning in, this is the morning program on QTV where we review the stories on the newspapers. And of course, we invite people that will review the stories with us, for better understanding. Yeah, so now let's move on to the Standard newspaper. On the main headline on the Standard newspaper, it's Dabo warns chiefs Al-Kalulu to be wary of post-Barrow Commission. Yes, that's that. Should we call it a threat or something? Or should we call it...
Well, it says it's a warning.
Should we be like, okay, if Dabo wins election in this country, of course, Al-Kalulus are going for commission straight.
He is giving them a warning because His Excellency the President at one of the rallies has said he expects these people to campaign for him. And essentially he's trying to tell them that that's actually illegal. And that if they do it, they should be wary because President Barrow is not going to be there forever. And when he's gone, if you have done something that is, you know, unconstitutional and so on, you could face a commission of inquiry and you'd have to answer as to why you did what you did. Halimatu, I don't know what your take is on that.
Yes, I think that's the same opinion I have. I also read where the president said that the alcalos and the chiefs, the traditional leaders should campaign for him for his bid for the 2026 presidential election. And I think all the politicians had it, including Dabo. So he might be worried about it because these are traditional leaders with influence. They deal with the grassroots people, their own people in their communities. So if they stand before their community and say, I am supporting the president and I want you to also support the president, that may be a big deal to the people. They may, especially those who are following the traditional leaders. So I think UDP recognized that, the leader recognized that. That is why he is also warning them of the consequences, like what happened when Jammeh left the office. So if Barrow also happened to leave, whether it is 2026 or any other presidential election, there might be consequences for them as well.
Yeah, Mr. Ali.
Well, yeah, very much so. I mean, and I think if you go on social media, there was comment across the board. It wasn't just for UDP. I mean, people said that they didn't feel the president should have made that statement. And, you know, that's been the reaction. Of course, the main opposition party, you would expect them to say that. And, you know, some might think he has a point, that if these people do campaign, then, as Halimatu says, they can sway people. They have a lot of influence in certain commissions. And, of course, that's why the president said he wants them to campaign for him. You know, he didn't mention it, you know, in a vacuum. He knew exactly what he was saying and why he was saying it. And of course, it's no surprise that the main opposition has reacted. Yeah.
Well, don't you think, if at all the main opposition were in the helm of affairs, don't you think they would do the same? They will tell Alka, because
there's no, you can't second guess people. But the beauty of being in opposition is you're always going to say you wouldn't do what the government is doing.
Yes.
And I say this deliberately because I think one of the papers has the same Dabo criticizing the president for the amount of money spent on the Hakalan
Road
inauguration. Had he been in power, it's very likely he would have spent the same or done the same thing. But when you're not in power, you can say these things. You can criticize.
You can say anything. So people have been saying things when they were not in power, and when they came in power, they did a different thing. So now we can project those that are not in power, what they're going to do when they are in power.
What they might. You can't say yes, they will. But you know, history has shown us that traditionally, across the world, it's not just a Gambian thing. You know, people who are not in power, who are in opposition, they'll say, you know, when I get into power, I will do this, or I won't do this, I won't do that. And then when they do get into power, they behave exactly the way they said they would not behave. That's across the board. But you can't guarantee that it's the same every time. Somebody might come and they might be different. And it's a gamble that the electorate take when you elect somebody. You believe them. Because they've managed to persuade you that they'll come and they'll be different. And so you vote for them, and then sometimes when they come, they're not different. But yeah.
And they are all seeking help from the traditional leaders, knowing their influence. So not just Barrow, even the opposition leader, the UDP leader is also seeking for their help. But maybe the way Barrow said it, it feels like, okay, Barrow is ordering you people to support me because most of them were appointed by the government.
As he said, yeah.
You know, the political system in our country, it's a different one. You know, I think illiteracy also plays its part when it comes to politics in the Gambia. Imagine a person tell you, I am in support of this individual follow that individual, and everybody follows the individual.
Oh, we see it all the time.
You understand?
At political
rallies.
Yeah,
I think people should be free to choose who they want to vote for. But first, you need to understand the agenda and the ambition and what the intention of that politician. I mean, some people are just carried away by, okay, names of politicians and fame. But for those that have understanding, follow what we call, development-oriented and steering the affairs of the nation forward.
But also the reason why politicians, including the opposition and the incumbent, the reason why they go to influential people like marabouts, like Islamic scholars, like traditional rulers, is because those people also have followers. And even if the followers, they are aware of their rights as citizens, but they also have a certain amount of respect for these people. And that is why they follow them in the first place. So if you are loyal to an Islamic scholar, for example, if the scholar said, okay, this is the person that I want to follow, and I want you to follow me, if you love me and you believe in me, they would do they would do that.
And that's the thing I was saying, that since I came here, I've seen political rallies where somebody who's a chief of some big village says, I have told the people to support this person or that person or this party or that party. And you're right, a lot of that has to do with illiteracy. And sadly, the politicians play into that. They realize that, nobody's going to read their manifesto, and so you narrow it down to basics. Follow this person because you believe in them, you respect them. Follow this person because you belong to this tribe or that tribe, and so on. And they've kind of simplified it to that. And it's no longer about development. I mean, on the surface it is, because all of them have manifestos. But, if your manifesto is written in English and 50 or 60% of the people can't read English, then it's pointless, Yeah.
So let's move on, to another story. Have you seen Usman Sonko's rally over the weekend? Have you seen that?
No,
in Senegal?
No. Why?
In fact, the guy, he is even more popular than before the elections. I mean, I've seen, because we know politics of crowd. I mean, I've seen the crowd that rallied behind.
So you're falling for that politics of crowd, are you?
Well, that's the kind of politics that we are, living in. So, I think he's still popular.
He's still, nobody doubts it.
And Senegal still like the man. And I am pretty sure they wish, they wish Usman was the one, running as president for now in Senegal.
No, it's not that some of them do. And in fact, as far as the party is concerned, he's the president of the party, and they refer to him as Monsieur le Président. It's not that they're unhappy with Diomaye Faye, but yes, you're right. Usman Sonko does have a lot of popularity, and I think inevitably when this current term ends, I think there'll be some tension there, because I suspect Diomaye will want to run again.
So
and
that's
Usman
will
say, it's my turn.
It's my turn.
So people have already asked them about that, and they've said...
Yeah, and to be very honest, it should be Usman Sonko's time.
Well, that's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
Why? Because if look, this is not some football that you hand around. If Diomaye Faye thinks I've done a good job and I want to run again, then he should run again and win. But what are you saying, Usman's time?
I think when Diomaye run again, he's not going to win. He's going to lose, because that's going to bring chaos between Diomaye and Usman.
Why?
And Usman is more popular when it comes to Diomaye.
It's
more popular. Let's be realistic.
I think you're missing the point, because as I said, people are actually quite pleased with the presidency of Diomaye. So it's not. Unlike you, I follow Senegalese news every day.
I do not deny that, but
so just because you saw a big rally, there's not a fight at the moment.
But I just want the justification to know. Okay, how are you sure people are pleased with Usman?
Because I follow the media, I follow Senegalese media, and you see the comments about how he's comported himself.
But that's a media number.
Are you listening? Stop and listen.
Okay,
how they comment on how he's conducted himself when he's gone into international negotiations. And those sorts of things matter, because people are saying, okay, you're doing a good job. So the media is they're not all following him, and some of them are even opposition newspapers that are actually congratulating him for things that he's done and deals that he has struck. So yes, I mean, nobody doubts Usman Sonko's popularity, but it will be very unusual. Look, we see it all over the world. When people get to be president, they never want to give it up.
Yes.
And it will be
that is true.
It will be very unusual if Jomai gives it up, and B, if Sonko challenges him, he will split the party. There's no two ways about it, because some people in the party do like Jomai Faye and how he has conducted himself as president. And those people will be very upset if there's a challenge to him, if he decides that he wants to run. If he says he's not going to run, that's fine.
One thing I know, Senegal is a different nation. Senegal is not like Gambia. You know, when it comes to being, being committed to certain things, you understand? You know, when Macky jailed Usman Sonko, the whole of Senegal said it was wrong. And, you know, that ushered in Jomai Faye as president after their release. So I know Senegal, they think differently. Javi, I don't know, Halimoto, what's your take?
Well, I know nothing about Senegalese politics anyway, so, but it reminds me of the Dabo Barrow situation. You know, it's similar to that. So, like he said, if Jomai wants to contest elections and Usman also wants to contest elections, provided that the law allows him to contest elections, I think they will go head to head. Unless Jomai said, I'm not going for another term. And like he said, African first ladies won't allow their husbands to be president just for one term. So
probably there is I know sometimes these are agreements that are written on paper, you know, put together, although the agreement between the Jammeh and the ECOWAS team, people are not taking that serious anymore because the constitution is more powerful than any other agreement. But let's see what will happen. I am pretty sure there will be chaos at that point.
That's probably the only thing you've said that's probably right. Because and the reason you're kind of agreeing with me that about the chaos, because what I'm saying is that there are people who support Jomai and they see him as a good president, and they will be upset if he is forced into standing down when he decides, I want to go for a second term. And that will split it. I have no doubt about it. It will split the vote and it will split the party. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's leave Senegal's issue to Senegal. You know, let them handle it. We have more tense political issues in this.
Yes.
So over to you, Halimatu, from your newspaper, please. Which one do you have? The Voice?
Yes, I have The Voice.
So what grabbed your attention?
Aside from politics, I have I would like to talk about the husband charged for striking wife with wood. The intimate partner
people are still
violence.
striking each other with wood. Firewood, Mr. Ade.
I mean, we talk about gender-based violence. You know, we go from this office, we get every other week, sometimes every week, we get invited to some seminar where they validate a policy against it. But the reality is you have to deal with people in the real world. And in the real world, that is still an issue. There's a very high level of gender-based violence. And that's an instance of it, which I believe it's ended up in court, as it should, you know, because it's unacceptable. And you know, we have to stamp down on it when it happens. So, you know.
At least this one made it to court, but most of the time when it happens in the community settings, it rarely made it to court because families went to sit and talk about it privately and said, okay, let's end it here. Let's not bring our dirty linen outside to wash it outside.
Business.
Yeah, the Maslaha syndrome and all that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a country where somebody can kill somebody and the family of the murder victim goes and says, yeah, we forgive. And so when I tell people this who are not Gambians, they simply cannot comprehend it. But like you said, families go and say, we don't want this to go beyond this, let's keep it on the down low, and it gets squashed. But, you know, as I said, since I've been here, there have been very, very serious cases, including murder cases, that have got no further. because the families have decided that they don't want to pursue it and have it go any further. Yeah. Any other interesting ones there?
Yes, we have the...
Yeah, on the standard, we have Dabo says Talib told him he was not going to contest in 2026 before making U-turn.
I didn't want to mention this because we just had the Sonko fight.
fight,
so I deliberately avoided that story, but you brought it up.
So we want to know, Halimatu, I mean, how do you see Talib? I mean, is Talib fit to run this nation?
That's a question.
Let's talk about what he's done in KMC. Is KMC happy with Talib? Is everything going well? Because we need to gauge how you handle community affairs before we entrust you with a national affairs.
Well, as a resident of KMC, I'm not there now. I have a family compound there still, so I go there occasionally. I'm now at West Coast. But I think that is left to the residents of KMC to gauge Talib's performance, to say, okay, this is what Talib did for us, and we are happy with it, and we think that Talib can run the country. As for whether he is fit, I think that is a personal question for Talib to prove to us that he is fit to run this country. Because as per the constitution of the country, every citizen has the right to vote and be voted for. So if we look at it in that direction, then we can tell that yes, Talib is, as a citizen, he is fit to contest for election. As whether he can run this country, that is left to him to prove to the electorates, to say that, okay, this is what I did at KMC during my tenure, and I think that if you give me the country, I can do more or I can do better. So with regards to the feud between them, Talib and the leader of the UDP, Dabo, I think they have personal issues. Talib is saying A, Dabo is saying B, and you don't even know who is saying the fact or who is telling us what really happened. So if Dabo said that he didn't promise Talib, or Talib told him that he wouldn't contest, if he contests, Talib wouldn't contest election. People can say things and change their mind.
My only problem here, I mean...
I will give up power after 3 years. Who said that?
Barrow.
Yeah, people can change their mind.
So my only thing here is, I mean, UDP party was formed in '96, you understand? And, they've been members from 1996. And Talib recently joined the United Democratic Party. And, for him getting in just few years and he created his own movement, is that not, does it look like an opportunist or something? Should we call it a sense of opportunist or something? That's how it looks like.
How long was Barrow in the UDP coalition before he became president?
Yeah, but Barrow was in the UDP for a long time.
Which long
time? For many years. Barrow mentioned it.
That?
He said he joined UDP when he returned from the UK.
You know what? It's not about how long you've been in a party. It's whether the party thinks that you are. As to who is fit to be president, as you rightly say, anybody who thinks they are competent and meet the requirements can put themselves forward to run. And by the way, there's a thing running on DW 2 days ago about Talib. Is he going to contest the presidency and so on? They did an interview with him, and they interviewed people, and there were competing views about whether, and usually there's no rehearsal for somebody to become president unless you're vice president and so on. It's not like you've been president in another country or something, So to say who is fit, that, as you rightly say, if you can convince the electorate that you are the person, they will vote for you, and then that's where we will see your fitness,
Well, I've asked Talib, I mean, when he was seated here, so Talib, do you want to be president? Do you want to run for president? That was a personal question I asked him, and I wanted to hear from him. So he paused for a while and said, as far as lawyer Dabo is running, I am not running against him. When he said his intention to run for president, I mean, I questioned that. And when he formed his own movement, I questioned that as well. So this is my situation.
Yeah, this is your situation. I know it's kind of confusing because when he set up the movement, his movement, he didn't register a political party. It was a movement whereby they are mobilizing people to join the movement, those whose agenda aligned with theirs, to see how best they can prepare themselves for 2026 as where the movement is leading them. I don't think I've seen that on any newspaper as to where Talib said where the movement is leading them or what they want to do with the movement. So I think it's left to him to come out and say, okay, maybe in 2026, January or February, to say, okay, this is what we have done with the movement, this is the membership so far, and this is what we want to do with this movement. So as for Hussein saying that Talib said he's not contesting against him, you know, maybe Talib thinks that, okay, I don't want to contest against him in the past, but now I don't think he has what it takes to lead the country. So it is time for me to come forward and take the bull by the horn and make my intentions known. So if at all Dabo thinks that, okay, Talib has now grown, this child that I am grooming has now matured and he's taking up responsibilities, he wants to contest for elections, he can sit and have a dialogue with him, let them negotiate and see how best they can work together.
And you
instead
said,
of, you know, going against each other like that.
You said the magic thing, people can say one thing and situations can change and they can change their minds. We all have the right to change our mind if we think that something has changed. So I might have promised you something 5 years ago, but you know, I've looked at the situation and I've changed my mind, and so you know, I don't believe what I said to you 5 years ago or however long ago. It can happen.
But I think they should all focus on the elections, because right now they are focusing on each other. It is very toxic among the two, the UDP and the movement. Yeah, so I think that they are being distracted.
Yeah, so let's see. 2 oil tankers sailing under Gambian flag with 1.5 million barrels of Russian oil stranded at sea amid sanctions.
Yeah, because there are sanctions on countries buying Russian oil. Gambia doesn't have a sort of a shipping fleet at all, but it's a flag of convenience for people who want to think. So you might think you're being clever by saying this is aboard a Gambian tanker, but then they'll say, okay, what's in it? And you say it's Russian oil. And because there are sanctions against countries buying Russian oil, then of course these tankers are stranded. I suspect there's not a single Gambian aboard them. Usually this is what happened. In the 70s and 80s, it was always Liberian tankers. You know, people registered tankers under Liberia as a kind of flag of convenience for, you know, marine sort of exports. But, you know, Gambian flag, I don't think Gambia cares much, because I think everybody knows that it's just a flag of convenience. Nobody's blaming Gambia for trying to break sanctions. Maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, what other things do you have, Mr. Ade?
Different ones. I mean, African diplomats attend China-Africa Cooperation Forum in Zhejiang. This was over the weekend. President Xi hosted a bunch of African leaders and so on. I don't know if any of them asked them why he wasn't attending COP30, but, you know, COP30 kicks off today and we have something on it later on in the program. But neither Russia, China, nor America, the big polluters, will be there. So you do wonder. I know we'll hear from our minister, you know, about, you know, what we expect from it. But if these people are not at the table, then, as you said before we came on air, people keep saying this year is the year.
Well, yeah.
What's going to happen when they decide to boycott?
They decide to boycott because, yeah, it's true. They're the ones. They're the violators.
Yeah, I mean, China, I spoke to somebody yesterday
yeah,
who's in China right now, and he was trying to sell me the notion that one of the reasons why China was not there is because they're doing a lot of things in green energy. For example, you know, you go to sort of the deserts of China, they're now harnessing solar energy in a major way. I mean, these deserts were just seen as inhospitable and you know, uninhabitable, but now they're actually a good resource for solar energy. And so, you know, he was saying to me, oh, because they're doing a lot of things, you know, electric cars is another thing they're doing that's kind of green. So they don't need, I said, no, they do still need to be there because we're not there yet, where 100% of cars in China are you know, electric or where, you know, all their energy is solar energy or wind energy. So, you know, they do need to be there, but Trump of America doesn't believe in it. Narendra Modi, the same, he's just kind of dismissed it. And as I said, you know, as you said, the biggest polluters, they're not there. So it's like, you know, having a party and the guest is not there.
Yeah. So we have the interview for the Minister of Environment, Rohit John Manjang, by our colleague Julden Jai, currently in Brazil for COP30. We'll take a look at the interview and we'll be back. You're there. I mean, like I said, COP 28, COP 27, 26, COP we are now at COP 30, and I hope COP 31 we will not be talking about this again.
It's a similar message to the previous one, and I had the fortune of having watched the interview, and what she was saying is that this year's meeting must deliver results for the countries most affected by climate change. And interestingly, in the West African sub-region, the Gambia is one of, if not, it was the first to actually properly cost and deliver our proposals. Even the big ones like Nigeria, Ghana, did so after Gambia. You know, so Gambia was ahead of the game in terms of that, saying, you know, this is what we think is needed and this is what we think the cost will be.
The interview is back.
Let's go. Let's hear it, yeah.
9 has built on a very progressive conclusion on the new 2025 goals. That's the finance, even though it falls short by very far. And the main that the scientists have revealed is what we need to finance the global COP budget or the global climate change action budget is from 1.3 trillion yearly. But we were able to have a compromised landing zone last year from 100 to 300,000 millions of dollars from 2024 towards 2030 or 35. But what is important is the commitment is there, but the actual implementation of these finances is very important. We want to realize this commitment. We want to practicalize this commitment in terms of the availability of finance. But not only that, we have a position, I'm now driving where Gambia falls under. We have a position under the Africa group whereby we need these finances to be affordable, to be available, but affordable. If they are available, they are not affordable. Affordable means what it takes for us to be able to go through the processes in getting this financing. If it is rigorous, it's not smart in terms of the link between our ability and our capacity, then the gap presents. So it's one thing to have the finance, but another thing also for it to be accessible by those that really needs it. Gambia wants to make sure that at least we join the negotiation to make sure that finance is available, but let it be accessible. Let it be accessible within the limits of our capacity. And Gambia is one of the leading countries in terms of having our forest management strategy that has already been launched, and we have it. We are among the few countries in the sub-region that has a national forest management strategy. And now Brazil is coming up with a clear milestone and clear agenda on forest management and its sustenance. This is our key interest, and we are going to support their declaration on that. So what we are now working towards is to leverage on accessing climate finance, because we have prepared our implementation plan for this NDC. and the cost of the long-term strategy is $4 billion US, and over 80% of this should be conditioned to accessing climate finance. That's the global climate finance, and the rest of it should be within the limits of our own financial needs. That's country-driven, country finance. But again, we understand that in as much as we have a very robust and well-articulated NDC, that is one thing. We have also prepared our long-term strategy. That's another thing. We have prepared our implementation plan for the NDC. That's another thing. We're now coming up with our first-time climate.
Minister, stop.
Yes. So that's the Minister of Environment there,
Rohit Manja.
She said it needs to be accessible and affordable. If it's not if it's accessible and not affordable, I mean, it's still a problem. And there must be an implementation this time. You understand? They keep emphasizing.
I think we should also apologize for the sound quality there, because I listened to it earlier, and it's in. I think it's in mono, and that's.
Besides, do you know what the Wolof saying will say? Kidi gas, kidi sul. Do you know that?
I have no idea.
If you are digging and I am putting sand back in the hole, you're digging and I'm putting sand back in the hole.
And you think, you think that's what's happening?
I think most of the big contributors to climate change, I mean, they have interests, I mean, in still continuing, especially, I mean, those that contribute in depletion of our ozone layers. I mean, the big factories, the producer of crude oil, you understand? So these are things that will put money into their pocket. So we going back to renewed energy might affect their businesses as well. Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest contributors don't attend, they don't even attend some of the conferences.
Well, they're not attending this one.
They're not attending as well, you see?
At the African Commission, during a panel, representative from Ghana was saying that the African Commission should declare an environmental crisis, emergency crisis in Ghana, because 80% of their water bodies is gone. So other African countries also have issues when it comes to environmental violations that are happening in their countries. And every year they will come to the NGO forum and they will talk about it, talk about taking action, making resolutions.
And validating those resolutions.
Yes, validating those resolutions. And when you come back, you talk about the same thing, no action is taken, and it's just frustrating.
It's like the British thing that says, stop, or I'll shout stop again. You know, it's not like stop, I'll do something. You know, it's like we'll talk about it, and then next year we'll talk about it again. Some countries, Saudi Arabia, for example, they've been investing massively in trying to transition away. This is a country which owes its wealth completely to oil, almost 100% to oil. And now they're trying to transition away from that. So they're building lots of kind of green energy things. They're building, you know, electric cars. They're building cities that are going to be run on green energy, like the city of Neom, which is going to cost how many trillion. And they're also now trying to develop the country into a kind of tourist attraction, because, of course, 90% of the visitors who go there go for Hajj and Umrah. But now they want it to be a tourist attraction to rival Dubai, which is quite an ambitious target. But they think that in 20 or 30 years, they might get there. So they're building resorts, they're building hotels, but they want them all to be in kind of green, you know, resorts where they use green energy. So, you know, countries are, and Saudi will be at COP, you know, so some of them, but the biggest three are not there.
Yeah. They're not there, yes. And then when you look at the fish meal factories, they're involved in the mining industry. So they need to be there where discussions take place, so that they can also provide solutions. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Halimatu, for coming and sharing this segment with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, we'll hope to see you soon.
Yes, again. I would also love to be here all the time, but
as you said, you have to juggle.
I know, but it's all right. It shall be well with everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
we'll take a short break. After the break, we continue with the program. We'll be back.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia. now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Vocal si network bu gëna rëy gëna yombale si réewi Gambia bi fii jëfandikool call bu set internet bu gaaw li yëpp si njëg bu yomba fii si QCell dawal léegi si suñ customer care bu la gëna jege ñu may la QCell line te doo si fay dara QCell network bu gëna rëy te it gëna yombale si réew mi fii QCell suñu bas ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa.
These tracks have become my wall, my arena of victory and fear. I relentlessly walk, push, strain, and stretched. Moments when every fiber of my being screams, give up. But the fire within me won't let me quit. Despite the burning muscles, in this sport, every moment matters. Every second counts. My failures, my dreams, my pain, my triumphs, they propel me forward beyond all limits. I am Gina Mariam Basbite, and this is Sunyubus.
Yeah, we are back. You are watching QTV this morning. After the newspaper review, now we move on to the other segment. I mean, we'll call this the last segment of the program. And we'll be talking about budget scrutiny forum for CSOs. And we have Mr. Lamin Diba, Executive Director from CBMT.
Center for Budget and Macroeconomic Transparency.
Yes.
You guys organized the forum. It brought together CSOs. What was the thinking behind it?
Thank you very much for the invitation. We very much appreciate it. So regarding the CSO's budget scrutiny program, the idea behind it was to help promote public participation, public representation in our national budget process, because that is required. It is necessary to ensure that there is inclusive national budgeting and also there is inclusive national progress.
How long was the forum? And I'll tell you why I asked this question.
It lasted for 2 days.
2 days?
Yes.
Okay.
From morning till 5.
One of the reasons why I asked this, Mr. Balde, is because the National Assembly members took away the draft and they went on a retreat to understand it better. How much could be achieved in over 2 days in terms of reading the budget, understanding what was in it, the facts, the figures, and so on? How much would have been achieved in 2 days?
We actually achieved a lot because we had prepared for it in the sense of we prepared a citizen's budget.
Right, yeah.
A CSO citizen's budget. That's so right. The citizen's budget preparation has guidelines.
Okay.
And when you follow those guidelines, you will get a result or a citizen's budget that will be very well summarized and less technical. And whoever looks at that citizen's budget, that person will be able to understand the overall overview of the budget.
Okay,
so in that citizen's budget, we have key components that every citizen who looks at the budget should focus on.
Indeed, yes.
For example, the budget overview. For example, major policy initiatives. In other words, development projects, major development projects. That will be implemented in the 20-year
health, education, and so on. I know they focus on certain things. So let's reverse a bit. CBMT, what exactly is it, and how did it come to be that it is now has reached a stage where it's organizing something like this? So tell us some more about CBMT.
CBMT, the name kind of speaks for itself. Center for
It
Budget
does what it says on
and
the tin, as
Macroeconomic
the British says.
Transparency.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea behind the formation of CBMT is to promote budget transparency and macroeconomic transparency in the Gambia, and also to help facilitate public discourse, evidence-based public discourse on the budget and also on the macroeconomy.
So how long has it been in existence?
It's we started last year, 2024 February, say. So it's been in existence for probably about 20 months now, over 20 months, you could say. Yes. So our basic aim is to enhance CSO budget research, CSO macroeconomic research, because we do not have a lot of economists, a lot of budget experts, technical budget experts in the civil society organization. So we want to change that, or in the civil society rather, we want to change that. We want to, through CBMT, we want to ensure that there are a lot of economists and budget experts in the civil society, as much as, not as much as, but at least to a significant degree, so that at least when we meet the government, we know what they're talking about.
You're coming from a position of understanding.
Exactly, exactly, instead of a position of queries, you know, and questioning and all that.
So I mean, how does your organization promote transparency and the involvement of citizens in budgets?
So we do research. We conduct research on the budget. If you check our social media handles and our website, you'll see that we have conducted a lot of research on the budget, specifically things that pertain to the citizens, things that the citizens may be significantly interested in, which would be the major or development projects that we have, that our central government implements in a yearly basis or on a yearly basis. So we conduct research on that in terms of how much funding is approved for several or major development projects and how much funding kind of is disbursed for each of those projects, and then we engage citizens on that. So if you check our social media, especially since our establishment, every single working day we put out an infographic explaining a component of the budget in a simplified manner, so as to help citizens understand the budget and take interest in the budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's talk about accountability. I mean, challenges faced in execution of budget. You know, what are some of the challenges when it comes to accountability as well?
I mean, budget transparency. You know, accountability has a prerequisite, and that is transparency. If there is no transparency, especially for the citizens, it will be very difficult for them to perform their oversight duties. You have to provide them the information so that they can look at that information, and then maybe by looking at that, they'll be able to see a thing or two that they may have a concern about, and they will voice that out to the government, and the government can take steps about that, or they can peacefully protest against something like that. So basically, transparency is key to ensuring accountability. And with respect to the central government, transparency, budget transparency is, of course, on the rise. It's on the rise, but the government could do better, because based on the open budget survey conducted by the International Budget Partnership, the Gambia's latest transparency score, budget transparency score, is at 36 out of 100, which is inadequate, meaning there is inadequate public access to central government budget information. And in fact, this is one of the reasons why CBMT exists, to help the government with its transparency initiatives. There are things that the government may be either too busy for or may be neglecting. And those things CBMT is taking up to ensure that there are no significant gaps in terms of ensuring transparency, so that we can all collectively, citizens and the government, promote or enhance accountability within our country.
We're talking about engaging with the citizens, engaging with civil society organizations. One of the things that I've become painfully aware to me is that a lot of the time we have all of these initiatives and they're all conducted in English, and we say we want to reach the citizens, we want them to understand. How do you reach the citizen who is not an English speaker or an English reader? How do you engage with them to make sure that they understand these things?
That is a remarkable question, actually, because not all of us speak English.
Yeah.
So it's quite important to communicate in a language or in languages that the citizens or the general public will understand. So regarding that, we, as part of this project, we have had budget engagements, budget discourse on radio stations, three radio stations so far. In Mandinka and in Wolof.
Not on Q radio yet.
No, not on Q radio.
That's all right.
hopefully in the future
we'll
have that.
Please. So in Wolof and Mandinka.
In Wolof and Mandinka, because we believe, I mean, a lot of the citizens speak either Wolof or Mandinka. So obviously, due to the constraints, we weren't able to include all languages, but we focused on Mandinka and Wolof. We've conducted that on radio, and we've also contracted online TV news outlets to report our citizens' budget, the summarized one, to the citizens in Mandinka and also in Wolof. Yes, both. So it's on radio and also online, so the wider citizens could have access to the information.
So how are we going to make sure budget allocation match with our national priorities?
This is a national problem, actually. It's a national problem. Even at the government level, they're having this problem. There seems to be a disconnect. Actually, not seems, there is a disconnect between our national budget and our national development plan. So that has created probably a hindrance in terms of implementing our national development plan. I think that is the job of probably both the government and also our National Assembly members. The National Assembly members must look at the national development plan and its alignment, or the national budget and its alignment with the national development plan at the budget approval stage, but also at the budget formulation stage. The government must have done it, but if they haven't, I implore on them to do that, to check the national development plan and ensure that all budgeting done by respective ministries, departments and agencies, all of the budgets prepared are aligned with our national development plan. It remains a challenge, but it's a challenge that we must overcome. Otherwise, our national priorities will not be achieved.
The recent forum which you conducted, which we covered on the news on QTV, what would you say were your big takeaways from that once it ended? What were the big things that you came away with, or that those who attended came away with, in terms of, you know, either decisions they made or suggestions or recommendations? What were they?
Personally, my biggest takeaway was that I came to the realization that we need more of these. We need more collaboration, because we did not do it alone as civil society organizations. We invited the Ministry of Finance to join us. So through that, we had a series of conversations with the representatives from the Ministry of Finance, and then we realized that there is communication gap between the civil society and the government. Of course, it is there, but it is inadequate. So my biggest takeaway was actually that we need more of this, because without communication, without collaboration, we will only have one-sided development, uneven development, and that is not good for the country.
So were there specific recommendations directed at Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs regarding how they could better communicate? As you said, if our index score is in the 30s and we want it to be 60s and above, certain things need to be done in terms of transparency and so on. So were there specific recommendations for them to say, look, maybe you need to think about this and take it forward? Mm-hmm.
Yes, verbal recommendations, because they were on the ground. So we made a lot of verbal recommendations to them. The reason we could not, of course, they were taking notes,
right.
And we're glad of that. But the event was primarily for the National Assembly, for the CSOs to come up with recommendations to be sent to the National Assembly. We have done that. Sure. We have documented a lot of first thing we would do is we would come up with a problem. What is the problem? Right. We would look at an issue in the budget, and we would identify a problem if there were any. We would identify the problem, and then we would offer or we would jot down recommendations with respect to that particular problem.
As the possible solution.
So yes,
to it,
problem, proposed solution.
Yeah, sure.
Problem, proposed solution. So we have actually documented. We have actually written it. The document is there now. It is up to. It's at the stage of editing, finalizing, and then collectively, CBMT and other selected civil society organizations will go together to the National Assembly and formally present the list of recommendations
so when
and problems to the National Assembly.
Listed them down, is there, so you don't give 100 recommendations, is there some sort of validation process whereby you decide on maybe let's limit them to 20 or 25 or whatever, so that it's focused and concentrated, and if so, who's involved in that?
That is the intention, actually. At the end of the program, let's say by the end of the program, we had kind of done a short election or a short selection process where we selected a few representatives from the respective civil society organizations, and then the plan is now that the document is done, the first draft is done, we'll all look at it together. We have we'll create a WhatsApp group, and we'll all look at the document together. And obviously, this that you have mentioned is quite important. We cannot submit to the National Assembly 100 recommendations. They will not be able to look at all of them. But there are key issues with respect to the national budget that the National Assembly must look at, must see, and they must address. So those issues we will include, and then we will try as much as possible to limit the number of recommendations that we have jotted.
So what opportunity exists for you to partner with the CSOs, I mean, for the work to be more effective?
It's a continuous process, actually. I think the CSOs, obviously, it's a lot of CSOs that we have in our space now, and that is a good thing. That is a great thing. And
it's a good and a bad thing.
For this particular, I mean, from my perspective,
I'll tell you why.
All right.
Yeah, carry on.
But for this particular activity, we were able to invite 20 CSOs, and one of our objectives was not just to submit recommendations to the government, but also to have strengthened collaboration, understanding, communication with other CSOs. So I think we have had talks during the event. We have had talks, about collaborating, future collaborations, and even having trainings tailored to the CSOs, because the budget is too technical, and even the CSOs need explaining.
Well, as I was saying, even the National Assembly members had to go on a retreat, 4-day retreat or something, to better understand it. So yeah, of course,
And they've done it not once, more than once.
Yeah, quite.
So if the National Assembly members need retreat explanation on the budget, I mean, obviously CSOs too do. So we've had talks, we have planned collaborations for the future.
And just quickly, the reason I was saying that you can have too many CSOs is that when we look at some of the stuff that we get sent to us saying cover this event and so on, there are very many CSOs who are operating in the same space. They're all trying to address the same thing. So rather than there be a kind of collaborative approach where they form 1 or 2 organizations because they're all looking at the same problem, you have 5 or 6 or 10 because everybody wants to be chairman or president of their own CSO. And so that's why I said, it's a good and a bad thing that we have so many. And in some cases the criticism is we have too many, but as you said, I think it's also a case of the more the merrier, because you get a range of views if you have a lot of them. Yeah.
And this actually is noticed even in the civil society, and particularly us. That's why we when we were forming CBMT, we tried as much as possible to make it specific. Budget and the macroeconomy, so it will not be too comprehensive.
Encompassing.
I mean, it could be a strategy. I mean, it could also be like a hindrance, because in terms of funding, I mean, obviously any money that's going to come to your organization will have to be tailored to budget and the macroeconomy, and obviously inclusive development of the Gambia. But yeah, I mean, I think CSOs have learned this, and CBMT is an example of that. I mean, the fact that you have a tailored civil society organization that is focusing on a specific niche
area. Go ahead.
So we've exhausted this segment. Thank you very much, Mr. Diba, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Bali.
And we wish you best of luck. I mean, for your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
And know that you'll be having a keen eye on when the budget goes before the National Assembly for debate. And you'll be thinking, I hope these people have taken on board our recommendations. But thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It's really been educational.
Thank you very much, viewers. This is all we have, Mr. Adedrame. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
We'll be back here again tomorrow for another edition of QTV This Morning. Do have a wonderful day. Bye.